I got a pretty strong feeling. The clouds are about to clear, and the sun will shine once again, revealing a beauty that I think hasn't been seen in arguably forever. There's no need to fear anymore. In fact, I'd argue that, well, that while there is cause for certain people to be afraid, everyone else need not. All these truly horrific scenarios are just too out there to contemplate happening. So, I think this is close to the end for this horror show. I give it 3 months before it all comes crashing down and pieces on its way to being restored. Obviously, I can't know this for sure. I can be completely wrong, but it's a strong feeling I've got. Hello, Benjamin, and hello there, epic personal guests. Also, those besties. Hope you are all doing well. And thank you so much for the 3 likes. I really do appreciate it. Hello there, KMD 2014. So here's a random question for you all. Hello there, Hirami. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you so much for the 5 likes. Wow. It's crazy. I don't usually get that many. Um, so, well, thank you kindly, Benjamin. Thank you kindly. Um, so, I haven't written anything yet, but I'm going to be working on a book. Technically, I have one that's already in the works. I've just not really had much, I don't know if it's inspiration, but I just haven't really, been able to do much with it. But ideas have been flowing for this other story, which I'm so much more passionate about. All I can tell you about, I would tell you more, but all I can tell you about right now is that it is a story about a vampire. And it takes place in the Wild West. Um, and I hope you'll forgive me for not going more into detail about it. It's just, I don't want to share too much in case, not that I'm suggesting anybody would steal the ideas, but you never can be too sure. Well, unfortunately, I don't know if it'd be appropriate for someone that's 7 years old because it is intended to be an adult novel. So I do apologize for that. Um, but hopefully in time. You're 67? Oh wait, that's a joke. Can somebody explain to me what that means? 67? I don't get it. Is it is it supposed to mean because 7, 8, 9? Is it that why is six afraid of seven joke, or is there another meaning to it? Okay. Also, I think I may have found the right time to stream. I think it's probably 8:40ish. Yeah, that might be when I should stream from now on. Okay. I just wasn't sure if there was a deeper meaning behind it. Okay. Well, that I didn't know because I don't watch sports. Thank you for saying that, random. Uh, I assume that's Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your sub. Really doesn't mean a lot. Am I a rapper? Well, I've attempted to write raps, but never finished any of them, which I guess is kind of like a normal thing for me. I've tried to write songs in the past. I even recorded shorts for a song, but let you hear some. Let me see if I can think of something off the top of my head. Mm, what's my favorite animal? That is a very difficult question to answer. One animal. Oh, God, that's so hard. Because I pretty much like all animals, with the exception of insects and spiders and stuff. They freak me out. But um, well, I don't know what animal means. But if I had to choose one, I would probably go with. I would probably go with tigers. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that was they were just referring to you as Carmen because that's what it says for your profile. Um, but 10 likes, amazing. Yeah, I'm a cat fan, as you can probably tell. I have a cat. Um, but I'm one of those people who likes. Yeah, they pretty much are. Like there's a there's this tiger on YouTube. I think it's owned by a fairly wealthy individual by the name of Enzo. And in one of this guy's videos, Enzo is right next to him, sitting there like a giant house cat. No, I do not have a dog. Um, I had a dog many years ago, a cocker spaniel, but um, we couldn't keep him because we were moving into an apartment. Um, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've never had to deal with allergies, so I'm lucky in that respect. But I feel for people who do. Um, my cat's name is Baby. And no, I do not play Roblox. You're probably like the 100th something person to ask that. It's funny how I get so many Roblox questions. Um, I mean, it was, but he went to a good home, and he's been well taken care of. I don't even know if he's around anymore. No, that's fine. Um, I'm sorry to hear about your dog running away. I can't even imagine what that must be like. Um, but yeah, he was a nice dog. Um, I hope your dog comes back. They in most cases they do return. Um, I'm sorry to hear about your bunny. That's the one thing that is a real bummer about pets is that they don't live as long as we would like them to. You know, um, like sorry to hear that, KMD. I'm sorry for your loss. Um, if I had it my way, dogs and cats would live a lot longer than they do. I do not have kids. Hello there, silly Jefferson, not Jefferson. Okay, well that was a bit annoying. Uh, so there was something up with my connection, but I'm back now. So if anyone saw the stream appeared to be buffering, it should be back in order. 5 cats, cool. I mean, we can talk about anything anyone wants to talk about. Just ask away. How long have been doing YouTube? I think I started. I definitely started this year. Maybe 6 months, 7 months. Hasn't been long. Um, but yeah, if you want to talk about something else, just post a question or suggest a topic. Eminem is actually my favorite. The irony being that I don't really listen to much in the way of rap. He's the only artist I've ever consistently listened to. I've owned every album uh, he's put out. Well, with some exceptions. Once Spotify became a thing and I got into that, I stopped, you know, getting the albums he released. So I just listen to anything new that he puts out through there. Actually, no, I haven't owned every album. There was one or two that I skipped out on. I am 36, 37. I haven't watched any shows in a while. Yeah, it's been a good while since I saw anything in the way of a show. Um, oh, well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate the compliment. Um, what was the last show I watched? Oh, I think it was. I don't expect anybody here to be familiar with this, but I was watching a series called "Who's the Boss." It was a comedy from a sitcom from the '80s. So I was watching that. What am I doing? Sitting here streaming, chatting with you all. Yep, not Tony, Tony Danza. You got it right. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. Um, I tend to. Well, that's really cool. Guessing was that some kind of convention? Um, so, um, um, yeah, I prefer. Oh, okay. I prefer older comedies. From the '80s and '90s, even going back farther than that. Um, I just don't find much humor in anything beyond that era. Um, well, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you here again sometime. Dirt bikes are cool. Never actually ridden on one myself, but that's what her name was. Harami or Hiromi. Probably butchering that. Apologize. Um, but yeah, I grew up watching Home Improvement. Um, Stuff like the Drew Carey Show, which I don't know if anybody here is gonna know about that or remember that because it was kind of short lived, or it might have gone on for a while, but I don't think it was that popular. Um, I'm not familiar with that. Okay. Uh, it's 9:04 for me. That was way. It's way older than 8 years. All right, KMD. Take care. Hope to see you back again sometime. Um, yeah, the Drew Carey show that I'm talking about was more like 20 years ago. Or maybe, no, not quite 20 years ago. Maybe more like 15 years ago. You didn't like Whose Line? I thought that was hysterical. I liked watching that. My favorite drink. Well, so I don't drink much aside from tea for the most part. I will occasionally drink something sweet, which is usually like a soda or something else. But I used to be a big fan of Mountain Dew, which I know is one of the worst things that you can put into your body, but I used to go crazy for that. So I guess that would probably be it. Um, well, that's fine. If you can't think of anything, maybe you will later. I have played Call of Duty. It's been a while. I'm There is a game I'm interested in trying out, which is it is an FPS, but I believe it's open world too. It looks to be similar to Battlefield, but it's free to play. It's called Delta Force. I might consider checking that out. But I'm primarily a single player gamer. I prefer games that have a decent amount of single player content. They're not just online. Because if I'm gonna pay money for something, especially considering how expensive they are nowadays, I want to play a lot on my own. Was he? That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Smoke? No. Drink occasionally, but not often. I try to stay away from stuff like that as much as possible. Also, came to find out that those so-called non-alcoholic beers and wines and whatnot, they're not actually non-alcoholic. They do contain a small amount of alcohol. Yeah. Tell your story. Thank you. Unless you were referring to someone else. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to stream same time from now on. It's terrible. Uh, so sorry to hear that. No one should have to deal with anything like that. There's nothing at all pleasant about going through that experience. Not that you would imagine there would be, but yeah, it's pretty rough. Pretty rough to go through that. Oh, you were in a car accident? Ugh, that's jeez. Yeah, I would definitely recommend trying to talk with someone about that. Um, well, I would, but I'm not particularly clean. That's not to say that I'm dirty necessarily, but I haven't gotten up to make sure that I'm presentable. That's why I'm not really showing my face. Thank you for the compliment. I have actually been in a car accident before. Luckily, it wasn't anything major. But it's still pretty scary when that happens. Ooh, pardon the yawning. I think I might be getting tired. Yeah, I'm pretty much okay with almost anything being discussed as long as it's nothing bad, as in, you know, something really bad, and going into detail. If it's people just expressing situations they've been in, that's fine with me. I hope I hope your sister's all right. Um, cool. Uh, yeah, that's not fun. It sounds like people are dealing with a lot here. I hope things improve. Yeah, I know what that's like. Well, I say I know what that's like, but I also don't really. The less said about that, the better. You as well. Hope to see you next time. Ah, that's rough. You asking me what I'm doing tomorrow? Nothing that I can think of. Probably just gonna be the same thing that I did today, which is nothing. Eats the sticks or just like chews on them? Cause I can't imagine that's good. Like I don't. I know that bones are potentially dangerous for a dog to ingest, but I'm not sure about sticks. I know I made the mistake of giving my dog a chicken bone, but I was a kid and I didn't know that it was, potentially dangerous. Luckily, nothing happened, but, you know. Well, I hope your dog returns, but hopefully your dog will return because they often do. There's some pretty incredible stories of dogs traveling long distances to reunite with their families. Oh, well, I hope that's not the case. I try to be, depending on what's on my mind and what may have transpired throughout the day and or week. Uh, that can that can change. It's also kind of late, so I'm wearing down a bit. What do you mean? When am I gonna stream? As in next? Probably around the same time. So let's see. I think I started this stream about like 8:36. So I'll plan on doing it the same time tomorrow since there was such a big turnout uh, for this one. And if you're consistent with the times in which you stream, it should only improve viewership. Nice. Gonna go make bracelets. Sounds cool. Take care, random. And I'm probably not gonna stream for too much longer because I kind of feel myself getting a bit tired and zoning out. Bentley, that's awesome. American Bulldog, cool. I've not gone to church in a long time. It's been years. Yeah, pit bulls are pretty cool dogs. I've known a couple of them. Uh, Honestly, it's not my thing. Yeah, I've known pit bulls. If I had a dog, a pit bull is one of the most likely breeds I would choose. My aunt had a really nice dog. Uh, I think she might have been somewhat pit bull. Uh, she was mostly Jack Russell, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the vet, told them that she was Jack Russell, pit bull, and maybe even a little Dalmatian. Um, the dog's name was Bella. Very friendly. Um, I can understand why you say looks mean, because having known pit bulls, they can appear mean to somebody who isn't familiar with them. Rottweilers too. I did have a sort of bad experience with a pit bull once. It didn't lead to anything. It just, whoever the owner was, I don't think took good care of his dog, and because of that, probably allowed his dog to, be confrontational. Um, this was years ago. I was taking a walk in the neighborhood, and some pit bull would not chase me, but like follow after me, and then every once in a while walk in front of me and stand there and like growl at me. Um, and it freaked me out because this was a pit bull. It's like I don't want to get attacked. I don't want to get bitten by this dog. Luckily, nothing happened, but yeah, it was pretty nerve wracking. Um, I should get some rest. Yeah, I'm probably gonna turn in soon, ish. When I say soon ish, it's probably more like an hour and a half. Yeah, and the dog's name was Rebel, which was ironic. And then there was a time that I was walking home from the job I had at the time, and I see this lady walking her dog, and for some reason I decided to stop and chat, and I asked hey, could I pet your dog? And she said, well, you can, but I don't know if he'll let you. He doesn't, he was, I guess he was abused or something. I reach out to pet the dog, and the dog bites me on the stomach. So that was a funny experience, I suppose you could say. Nuka, is your dog named after something from Fallout? Okay, I was wondering because there's something in Fallout called Nuka Cola. All right, but yeah, I'm thinking of wrapping it up soon. Uh, 'Cause I can almost feel my eyes ready to close, and I don't want to fall asleep during a stream. Uh, so get your last questions in, your last comments in, uh, before I close this up. But and if any of you are around tomorrow, let's say 8:36, 8:40. Please feel free to tune in again. We'll be doing another one tomorrow night. And then following that, maybe one on Friday. Not Thursday since it's Thanksgiving, but possibly Friday. Nice. Schnauzer, if I'm not mistaken, is also the name of a dog name of a dog breed. Yep, it is. With that being said, I'm gonna let you all uh, go for now. Oh, nice. Who's um who's in the Marine Corps? Oh, cool. I'm reminded of this guy on YouTube who he had a Schnauzer and he had a Shepherd, and he would record videos of the two of them. It was pretty funny, but yeah, I really am going to go because again, I don't want to fall asleep during the stream. I don't think anybody wants to experience that. But thank you so much for attending tonight's stream. Very appreciative. It's honestly quite shocked to have seen so many people here and to have received 10 likes. That almost never happens. Uh, so I'm definitely going to stick with this time frame for my streams from now on and try to make it a regular thing. But that being said, do take care of yourselves. Hope you have a great rest of your night. And I shall see you all tomorrow at the same time, more or less.